Time is running out for Coronation Street villain Megan Walsh next week as she desperately tries to secure a breakthrough with Will Driscoll before it's too late. Megan is due to stand trial for grooming Will after he reported her to the police a few weeks ago, but she still hopes to escape justice. Upcoming scenes see Megan convince Will to meet her at a car park, safely away from prying eyes. They've already been in touch via Will's gaming headset, but Megan knows that she needs to up the ante with her manipulation by seeing him in person. When they come face to face, Megan does all she can to persuade Will not to testify in court. "No matter what anyone says to you, or what you hear about me, I just need you to remember one thing," Megan says. "I loved you. And I know now that that was wrong. But it doesn't mean it wasn't the truth. And I'm not saying that we can be together, because we can't. But please don't let this be how it ends. Don't let me go to prison." Will isn't entirely convinced, though, and firmly accuses Megan of lying. Reminding Megan of how she's behaved in the past, Will seems to have broken free of her control. Watch a first look at the scene below. Is this Will's final decision, or will Megan have to change tactics in the days leading up to the trial? We know there are more twists and turns still to come, as Megan's mother Janine will be arriving in Weatherfield soon, and she wastes no time before visiting the Driscolls. Catherine Tilsley, who plays Eva Price, recently told TV Times, "When Janine reveals who she is, it's like a red rag to a bull for Ben." Janine tries to apologize on behalf of Megan. She is bewildered as to why this happened. But, sometimes, people grow up in normal, loving families and things go extremely wrong. That's what Eva sees. She's like, it's not Janine's fault. Then you've got Maggie, who's like, well, Megan has learnt this behavior from someone. The cobbles are set to erupt with fresh drama as Coronation Street confirms the explosive reaction of Will following Megan's latest and most shocking decision yet. Just when residents thought tensions had finally settled, a bold move from Megan threatens to change everything, leaving Will struggling to keep control of a situation that quickly spirals beyond his expectations. For weeks, Megan has found herself at the center of growing conflict. Feeling trapped by the expectations of those around her, she has been quietly plotting a new direction for her future. While friends and family assumed she was finally finding stability, Megan was secretly preparing a decision that would stun everyone close to her. The drama begins when Megan receives an unexpected opportunity that could completely transform her life. After months of frustration and disappointment, she is offered a chance to leave Weatherfield behind and start over elsewhere. The opportunity promises a fresh beginning, free from the complications and emotional baggage that have followed her for so long. At first, Megan keeps the news to herself. Unsure whether she is brave enough to take the leap, she confides only in a trusted friend. However, as the reality of the offer begins to sink in, she realizes she cannot ignore it. The possibility of a better future becomes impossible to resist. When Megan finally decides to share her plans, the news spreads through Weatherfield like wildfire. Some residents are supportive, believing she deserves a chance to rebuild her life. Others are shocked that she would consider leaving behind everything she has worked for. Yet no one is more affected than Will. Will learns about Megan's decision secondhand, and his reaction is immediate. Feeling blindsided and betrayed, he struggles to understand why she never came to him directly. According to insiders, Will had believed that despite their recent difficulties, there was still a future for them. He assumed they would face any challenges together. Discovering that Megan had made such a huge decision without consulting him leaves him devastated. In emotional scenes, Will confronts Megan and demands answers. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asks, unable to hide his hurt. Megan remains firm. She explains that she needed to make the decision for herself without outside pressure. For too long, she says, she has put other people's feelings ahead of her own. The confrontation quickly becomes heated. Will accuses Megan of running away from her problems instead of facing them. Megan fires back that she is finally choosing her own happiness for once. Neither is willing to back down, and years of unresolved frustrations come pouring out. residents watching the argument are stunned by the intensity of their exchange. What begins as a conversation soon turns into a painful examination of their entire relationship. Both Meghan and Will are forced to confront truths they have been avoiding for months. As emotions run high, Will's reaction takes an unexpected turn. Initially angry, he begins to realize how much Meghan has been struggling behind the scenes. Friends point out that she has repeatedly sacrificed her own ambitions to support others. Slowly, Will starts to understand why she feels the need to take control of her future. However, understanding her reasons does not make accepting them any easier. The following days are filled with tension as Will wrestles with conflicting emotions. Part of him wants to support Meghan's dream, while another part fears losing her forever. Meanwhile, Meghan starts making practical arrangements for her departure. She begins sorting through her belongings and saying quiet goodbyes to those closest to her. Each step makes her decision feel more real. The sight of Meghan preparing to leave hits Will harder than he expected. In heartbreaking scenes, he watches from a distance as she packs up her life. Friends notice that his confidence is fading, replaced by uncertainty and regret. Many begin to wonder whether Will waited too long to show Meghan how much she truly means to him. As the departure date approaches, Will receive some unexpected advice from those around him. Several residents encourage him to fight for the relationship before it is too late. Others warn him that pressuring Meghan could push her further away. Caught between hope and fear, Will faces an impossible dilemma. Should he respect Meghan's choice and let her go? Or should he tell her exactly how he feels and risk making everything worse? The answer comes during a dramatic episode that promises to leave viewers talking. After days of avoiding one another, Will finally seeks out Meghan for one last conversation. Meeting in a familiar Weatherfield location filled with memories, the pair share an emotional discussion about everything they have endured together. For the first time, both drop their defenses. Will admits that his anger was never really about Meghan leaving. Deep down, he was terrified of being left behind. He confesses that he took their relationship for granted and failed to appreciate how unhappy she had become. Meghan listens carefully. In return, she admits that leaving is not as easy as she pretends. Despite her determination, she is frightened by the uncertainty of starting over. Weatherfield may have brought her pain, but it has also given her friendships, memories, and people she genuinely cares about. The conversation marks a turning point. Instead of arguing, they finally begin to understand one another. Yet the future remains unclear. Will makes an emotional plea, asking Meghan to reconsider her plans. He insists that they can work through their problems together if she is willing to give them another chance. Meghan is visibly moved. For a moment, it appears she may change her mind. But in true Coronation Street fashion, nothing is ever simple. A surprise development arrives just as Meghan appears torn between staying and leaving. New information emerges that could influence her decision and alter the course of both their futures. The twist leaves Will anxiously waiting to discover what Meghan will choose. Will she board the train and begin a new chapter elsewhere? Will she decide that her future still lies in Weatherfield? Or will an entirely different path present itself? Producers have teased that Meghan's storyline will have major consequences for several characters, with Will's reaction forming a key part of the emotional drama. Fans can expect powerful performances, difficult decisions, and plenty of unexpected twists as the story unfolds. One thing is certain, Meghan's next move has already changed everything. For Will, the experience forces him to confront uncomfortable truths about love, commitment, and the risks of taking someone for granted. Whether their relationship survives remains to be seen, but the impact of Meghan's decision will be felt long after the immediate drama ends. As Weatherfield braces for the fallout, viewers are left wondering whether this is the end of Meghan and Will's story, or the beginning of an entirely new chapter. With emotions running high and the future hanging in the balance, the coming episodes promise exactly the kind of gripping drama that Coronation Street fans love. And as Meghan prepares to make the biggest decision of her life, Will's reaction proves that sometimes the most difficult journeys are not the ones that take us far from home, but the ones that force us to look closely at ourselves. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Coronation.